Welcome to the channel. My name's Cody, and I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is this tractor's still not running and still not out of the shop. The good news is we're gonna be working on it again today to hopefully get one step closer to accomplishing that goal. If you're new to the channel, be sure to go back, check out some of the last videos of working on this, or watch the entire series, whatever you wanna do. If you're not new to the channel and you've been following along, you know last time we put the manifolds on, we ran some of the wiring and put the generator on, the belts, the fan, tightened all that stuff up. And we tore apart the carburetor, which now we have received the brand new carburetor float that we've been waiting for. So we're gonna go ahead and start by getting everything cleaned up with this carburetor and reinstalling everything to where we're gonna hopefully be able to get this thing back mounted on the tractor and have it functioning properly as it should be. A lot of the parts are cleaned up now. Some of these are gonna be replaced anyway, but clean up everything. We got our new float in here. I was using some carb cleaner and whew, it is strong. Kind of what I wanna jump to now because I really wanna get these fluids out of the rear end of the tractor. I want to try and get this wheel out of here because it's starting to kind of leak some more junk out of it. So I want to get this off, and we need it off anyway. So see if I can somehow jack this end up and get that tire off of there. Well, it's at least sitting level now. And you can hear this kind of trying to reinflate. I think my goal here is to try and leave the center attached and just pop the entire wheel off. That would be the simplest. Oh, ow! I changed how I had the setup on this. I didn't like how it was. I managed to break all these loose, which I am very surprised. I figured they would snap or my breaker bar would break. So now I'm gonna try and get all the centers or all the bolts off the center, and then I can pop this whole thing out because I'm kind of tired of this. Before I go and start taking off that old junky tire and rim completely, I kind of wanted to make sure that this one was good to go. I thought this held air. The tire's in good shape. I thought the tube was good. This rim's rotting out a little bit. This had calcium in it. And I tried filling it with air, and I filled it with not up to pressure yesterday, but I put some in it, and it just seemed to leak all out. I tried it again today, and it was all coming out around like there's water in here. So I don't know, I'm assuming there's a leak in the tube, but then it doesn't matter because the more I tried to put air in, it actually just snapped the valve stem off. So it's not even worth me trying to mess with this. Now, the tire I could use, and we also have another one back there. So I think what I'm gonna do is we'll pair one of these tires, we'll get a new tube, and I have a pretty decent rim over here that I can clean up. I gotta grind off these brackets that they had on here, but we'll get this one prepped. This one's in really good shape. There's no rot on it or anything. So we'll get this one prepped, get it painted. We'll paint it after, obviously, because we're gonna butcher it up. But I think this is probably the best move. Get a new tube. We can use one of them tires and use this wheel. Because if we don't, I know what's gonna happen. Something dumb is gonna happen with that. And I'm not trying to go through all this just to have to pull it back in here and do this anyway. So we might as well just do it right the first time. So with that, we're gonna jump back on to wiring and trying to get this engine where it needs to be. We're gonna jump right back into this carburetor. That's better. The easy way. New parts, new gaskets, cleaned everything up, blew through all of the passageways. Hopefully this thing should be set up. We adjusted everything according to spec. Hopefully everything's gonna be set up properly. cleaned all the mating surfaces. So I'm going to mount this on the tractor now and throw a new gasket on, tighten everything up, and then we can continue the assembly process. I'm liking it. Carburetor's good and tight, and I got the governor arm mounted fast to the carburetor as well. Put a new pin in that. I did find a couple things wrong inside the carburetor. One piece that was kind of broke, and obviously everything needed cleaned and blown through, and just it needed gone over completely. The kind of the drain hole down here, which has a felt filter type thing in it, all that was clogged completely shut. The felt was junk, so needed to do that as well. I jumped on to try and get the wiring kind of buttoned up, traced these other wires. I think this goes to the fuel gauge. I have to double check that. I just traced it out really fast. And I realized I have to get a different toggle switch for the lights. Apparently I lost the screws. It's not gonna hurt to have a new one anyway, but they're so tiny I have no idea where I put them, or maybe I threw them out because I was planning to not use them. So I think at this point I'm just gonna try and, I got longer bolts, so I'll mount the lights in here. And I know I have to run extension wires because obviously the amount of wire that they send in the lights is very short and it's not gonna reach. Now what's left is do the wiring. These bolts were just long enough. That one's a little loose. I'm sure I'm gonna have to adjust them once it's dark, and I hope to not have to use it, but it's there if I do need to. Now we got 3. I was sent 4. I was planning on putting 2 in the rear, but I don't really have, I could drill a hole in that side, but I don't know that I want to. Could put one here facing back, but I think I'm gonna try it with just that one over there first and kind of see what it does. If I need to add another one, I can later. Not a huge deal. I think I am getting very, very close to being able to finally mount this dash. I had to mechanize some of this stuff, kind of disappointed in that. But the gauge came from a different place than the oil pressure line did. However, this fitting that came in this kit wasn't big enough, it wasn't drilled big enough to fit the line. So it's kind of irritating that I have to fix or mechanize, I guess, brand new things. That's kind of annoying, but I have everything in here. I ran wires from our new toggle switch for our lights. Got the fuel gauge wires tied in, the old one disconnected. I want to have everything tied in up at the dash or up at the console because it's very hard to get access to it once it's kind of mounted up on the steering column. There's just a lot in the way. So hopefully I have everything where it needs to be on the right side of the steering column, and hopefully tomorrow we can get that mounted, and by then we should be able to hopefully mount that framing up here as well with the air cleaner. And I'm ready to try and clean up this wiring nightmare. Well, that's kind of better. At least it's not just hanging out here in the middle of everything. All this stuff is hanging, so I still obviously have to put all this together. But the dash is mounted. It's tight, it's mounted. So it's starting to look like something back here for sure. So I love to see that. All new gauges, new choke cable. And this is cool, this golf ball, but we're gonna change that too. There, much better. Like that. Now, I'm putting that on. Yeah, let's not cut the wires I put on there. That'd be great. This thing is turning around quick. We are not far at all from being able to fire this thing, which makes me happy because I'm ready to get it out of the shop and I'm ready to start using it. Not that I really need it right now, but second cutting hay is coming up very quick, so that'd be a perfect time to have this thing hooked up and use it for that. Not that our baler's gonna work, but either way, I need to get this thing running. So we are getting close. Get the gas tank thrown on here, button up some wiring, get a battery thrown in it. We're very, very close. I do have a new voltage regulator to throw in there, so we'll do that. But it's getting close. We got the dash mounted and we got the other, whatever you want to call this, the subframe thrown back in here. Got some wiring, and the other thing I have to do is tie in all the wiring for the lights, run those, but we already ran that for the switch, from the switch, which is right there, but it just would have been hard to get at with having it kind of fastened, so that's why I did that ahead of time. So, that's gonna end today's video. Hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to see this thing run. And cross your fingers that we don't have any issues. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're getting there. We are getting there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.